Hey friends, I hope you're doing well. I've been trying to get through the backlog of video topics I've wanted to share, and today we're gonna take a short break from the card options and take a look at the question we got on Reddit. So here on Reddit, Muzakezim, I hope I said that correctly. Sorry if I butchered your name. I have no idea how to say that name. This person writes, "Hello guys, so I have a question. When I do small editing on the notes in Anki and when I re-upload the exported and Notion to Anki deck, does it change my edited note?" So the short answer is actually no. For the card, it will create a new flashcard. So the reason being, in Notion to Anki, we're using a library called in-Anki. It's basically a library which creates Anki decks, and in Anki, a note is what's used for flashcards. And we're not going to jump too deep into Anki internals or the code because it's too technical for most people. You're not really that interested, I'm guessing. And to be honest, it's going to take a while to go through, so let's not do that. But you can see in in-Anki they have a model and it defines the fields and cards of a type of note, right? And that's what Anki uses to create flashcards, right? So you have note types and so on. And there's something called a GUI ID, and that's an acronym for Globally Unique Identifier. So here it says notes have a GUID property that uniquely identifies the note. If you import a new note that has the same GUID as an existing note, the new note will overwrite the old ones, as long as their models have the same fields, right? So that's the keyword here, same fields. So in Notion to Anki, we are not changing the default behavior of in-Anki. We're using it as is. So it will take the fields for your card. So in the basic case, it's the front and back. And if anything there changes, anything, a single character, we're going to look at that, that will be enough to generate a new ID. And that means a duplicated card. So unfortunately, currently with the implementation of Notion to Anki, we don't support synchronization. You can export and import the same deck. If you don't change the previous toggles, it's not going to create duplicates. That's why it's better to, or easier currently, to append. So you would add a new toggle, and even deleting one doesn't delete it in the Anki deck, right? So I think this should answer the questions, but we're going to go through the export-import process and take a look. But let's read this paragraph. This is an important feature if you want to be able to tweak the design content of your notes, regenerate your deck, and import the updated version into Anki. Your notes need to have stable GUI IDs in order for the new note to replace the existing one. So the IDs there can be used to update. And in the future, I've discussed this with another student on Discord. In the future, we're going to probably support Notion IDs. So Notion generates IDs for the various blocks. And those IDs seem to be fairly unique. So we could use those. And that way, we could actually update content. So we would be able to update or delete even, right? Without you having to do anything at all, other than just editing your card in Anki or editing your Notion page, and then would instantly sync between the two. So this is something we want to tackle in the future. It's not implemented today, just to clarify that. By default, the GUID is a hash of all the field values. This may not be desirable if, for example, you add a new field with additional info that doesn't change the identity of the note. You can create a custom GUID implementation to hash only the fields that identify the note. So this is probably what we're going to do later on, is hash our own fields, probably using IDs from Notion. That way we can keep track of what is unique. So let's go on here where we have Anki on the right hand side, and we have Notion page here. So we're gonna head on over here to toanki.net, and let's click this 3 dots there. It's gonna look different depending on how big your screen is, but there should be a create button either there or further down on the page. So click the one that's closest to you. you'll get to the upload page. Let me just go ahead and reset my settings. I sometimes do some testing purposes, so I change the settings here. And that's basically card options to allow you to change the default behavior if you're new to Notion to Anki, that is. So let's go on here and upload our exported page, convert that, and then click on download and get our notes. So you can see we have a new deck. Scandinavian says 6 new. It's closed deletion cards, that's why the number looks different. But it's 3 toggle lists, right? So if we take a look here at the browse, you can see we have these, right? And those are there. So if we import this again, it says notes found in file 3, notes skipped as they are already in your collection, right? So remember, the note ID is generated from the fields, right? So if we go back to the browse here, you can look at the fields. You can see we have a text, my extra, my media. So those are used to generate the ID, the globally unique identifier. And that ID hasn't really changed because these fields are still the same. We're just using the same export. So what if we go in here and add an exclamation mark there? What do you think is going to happen? So I'm going to go ahead and export this, and we got the new export. Head on back here, close it, click on the, make sure I'm picking the one that has the latest timestamp, looks like this one. Convert it, download, and the moment of truth has come. Let's open it up. And here in Anki it says notes found in file 3, notes updated as file had newer version 2, notes added from file 1. So it added one new one. And that's because it couldn't distinguish, like the ID has changed for this one, but you can see it's red. According to Anki, this is a duplicate, right? Show duplicate. So you can see this one is duplicated. It's essentially the same card, but the extra has changed, right? You can see there the exclamation mark is there, but there it's not, right? So if you change your card, you can export, import again. It's safe to do, but if you do that, you're going to end up with duplicate cards because, again, the ID is generated from your field. So that's why here, if we don't change anything and then add, let's say, the capital of Spain is Barcelona. I think it is, guys. Please don't laugh if it's not. I'm terrible with geography. I should actually just spend some time and learn the map. So exporting this, right? Getting our export, and again, guess what's gonna happen? I'll give you a moment while I'll upload it and convert it to Anki deck here. Download, and okay, I'll close the browse so you can see the deck again. We'll open it up. Bam, it says notes found in file 4. Notes updated as file had newer version 3. Notes added from file 1. Bam. So it looks like it's actually trying to update all of them, and it added one new now. And if we go here, you can see this one is still duplicated. So let's actually delete this one here. Again, if you delete stuff, you're going to lose the review history. Just keep that in mind before you delete anything. So now we got our, the capital of Spain is Barcelona, close 1 and 2, and everything else looks the same. Nothing really changed, but it does claim that it did change, right? Let's look at this, just to double check it, looks fine. Yeah, so that's what happened. So in general, I would, this is just my current recommendation. I would recommend don't really change the toggles afterwards. If you do change them, you're going to end up with the duplicate, and then you lose your review history. So it's better to actually, when you have imported them, it's actually better to just update them in Anki itself, because there's no, we currently don't have any synchronization. Synchronization means that here we have two data sources. So Notion on the left hand side, Anki on the right hand side. Anki is using a SQLite database, so we don't have a way to synchronize those two. In the future, we will have that. That's what we want to tackle when Notion comes out with an API. So I hope this clarified. If we go back here to the question again, here's my reply, guys. The short answer is no for the card. It won't update the existing flashcards, but instead end up creating a new flashcard, so you do end up with duplicates. The globally unique identifier GUI ID are generated from the field, so when you change something inside of Notion export import again, it's treated as a new node because the fields have changed, so the IDs is not the same. You end up, the result is you end up with a duplicate. I hope we can resolve this in the future. We currently do not support synchronization. When Notion comes out with their public API, this will be the first thing we tackle. So essentially you can edit in Anki or in Notion and it will automatically be updated. No export or import. Let's add an emoji there. There is a private API, but I'm very hesitant to use it. A general tip is to create your initial cards in Notion, then do the export import. Afterwards, when you want to edit, just do that in Anki, unless you want to be duplicated and potentially lose, is this correct? Lose review history. So for new toggleless, export import workflow will work, but the updating of existing cards is not yet supported. Typos, guys, typos. I hope this answers your questions. Happy learning. There, so we have that. I'll update the comment there with the YouTube link. Yeah, so that's how Notion to Anki generates IDs. I hope this answered a question on Reddit, and also if anybody else watching has this question, this is how it is. And please note, it's currently how it is. It's not how we want it to be. It's just the implementation detail. We hope in the future to use the Notion API to synchronize between Anki and Notion instantly. So when you change something in Anki, it will show up in Notion, and when you change something in Notion, it will show up in Anki. So it's like bidirectional syncing. That's the dream. So you can continue using Anki for SRS spaced repetition and Notion for your notes and just syncing between very easily, right? So I hope when the Notion API comes out this spring, we can finally get to work on that. And if you would like to support the project, check out the links in the description. For everybody else who's continuing supporting the project, thank you very much. We appreciate your support on Ko-fi, Patreon, PayPal, wherever you're supporting us, on Discord. And please note, guys, you don't have to send donations if you can't afford it. You can support the project in many other ways, like suggesting ideas, reporting bugs with examples. Thanks a lot to everybody who's reporting bugs with examples. It actually saves me time. And yeah, I appreciate it. So I look forward to using the Notion API, getting my hands dirty there. And yeah, that's going to be fun, guys. I really look forward to it. So thanks for watching. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and like, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.